Welcome to Finding Home, a podcast about life, change, and what it really means to feel at home here at St. John's United. This is where we share real stories about what life is like in senior living. You'll hear from residents, their families, and the staff who support them. If you're thinking about a move for yourself, someone you love, or just want to know what life here is really like, these conversations offer honesty, advice, and reflections on what it means to be welcomed into a community that's here for you through one of life's more unexpected and challenging changes, finding a new place to call home. Because at St. John's United, home isn't just a place. It's the people and the moments that make life worth living. And there is so much life to live. I'm Erin, your host, an occupational therapy student working with St. John's United. Today, I'm joined by Domonique, a certified nurse assistant and cottage coordinator for assisted living and memory care cottages on the St. John's West End campus. She's here to share a bit about her experiences working with the St. John's community and caring for elders within her cottages. Domonique, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am excited. You are such a fun, bubbly personality, and I can't wait to hear all your stories. So to start us off, tell us a little bit about who the heck you are.
All right. Well, I'm Dominique. As you kind of got the intro, I work at St. John's as a cottage coordinator, and I do also assist on the floor as a CNA. I grew up in San Diego County. I am the daughter of an immigrant mother from Holland, and they're very orientated to taking care of the elderly as they get older. And so there's not a lot of assisted living nursing style homes in Holland. So I grew up with being around my Oma whole life.
Nice.
So it was wonderful.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity to work in a dermatology clinic with my mom. It was actually a leprosy clinic. And so I got exposed to the medical field at an early age. And then when I went to college, I went to go visit my brother in North Carolina. And I met my husband.
Oh, cute.
Yes, yes, very excited. And so after my freshman year, I moved up to North Carolina to be with him. And they offered an opportunity to spouses to join the American Red Cross and become a medical assistant. And so after working at the leprosy clinic, I thought, hey, let's totally dive into this. This will be fun. And so I got the opportunity to work there on post. The clinic I worked at supported the spouses and the family members, as well as the servicemen and women at the clinic. And so I got really exposed to that clinical lifestyle, and it kind of gave me my passion for the medical field.
I think you're a natural born. You're a wonderful communicator and just an empathetic, warm person, anyways. So I love that you got your start early. And then now we're sharing it with us, of course.
Right. But I think that's the beauty of St. John's too, is because so many people have so many different backgrounds that
Mhm.
you get to have those experiences, whether it's the residents or the fellow CNAs or the administrators. We have so many different diverse backgrounds that it just makes us a great melting pot.
Agreed. You can learn a little bit of something from everybody and anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're not busy saving the world at these cottages, what do you like to do in your free time?
Mm. Well, I have four boys. They range from 18 to 2. So they keep
Wow.
me very, very busy.
I believe it.
My schedule revolves around them. And then when I do have free time, I'm a very avid reader. I love books. I like the tangible feel of books. My husband had bought me a Kindle once, and it just sits on my nightstand.
Collecting dust.
Yes. Uh,
Well, thank you for sharing that. I love the piece about your Holland culture upbringing because it's so unique and different from the US. So it's
it,
just interesting to learn.
yeah, it is. It's very cool.
Yeah.
They are so family oriented. It's
Mhm.
wonderful.
Well, speaking of the family, tell me a little bit about why you chose to work for St. John's and what's been going well for you.
I chose St. John's. Well, St. John's has such a beautiful reputation in town
Yeah.
for being the top tier. And I'm not going to lie, when I started, I felt it immediately because the welcoming mat that gets put out for you when you start at St. John's is just like, thanks for being a part of this. So many of the employees live through the mission of the hope, dignity, and love. And you just feel that radiate off everyone, whether it's the outpatient therapy, whether it's TRC, Mission Ridge, and Vista, just all the campuses everywhere. And when they do traditions, when you get hired and they give you the tour of all the campuses, so you get to go up in the heights and see Windstone and Sky Ridge.
Oh,
So you
neat.
get to see all the facets of it. So it's absolutely wonderful.
Perfect. So the culture and the mission, I guess, of St. John's is kind of what drew you
Yeah.
to that role. Okay.
Yeah. And I had worked in internal medicine for a couple of years, and that was where I kind of found my passion for the elderly,
Hmm.
just because the majority of internal med patients are over the age of 65.
Fair.
Um, and so when I saw the posting for the position, I jumped on it immediately. And I was so grateful that they picked me for the position because my leadership is just amazing.
I know we met a few weeks ago. You showed me like this go-kart race thing, crazy thing that you guys were doing and team bonding and taking care of staff, and it was just so fun.
It was an absolute blast. It really was.
So it sounds like you wear quite a few hats working both at the cottages, assisted living, and then memory care. Can you share a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like in this role?
Yeah, so I mean, it goes anywhere from helping people get up, passing meds, getting them to the dining room table, assisting eating, taking on different concerns from the residents, family. I'm a huge communicator with family when they have questions, help coordinating appointments. That is
Mm,
huge because, we have doctor's appointments, right? So we want
yeah.
to make sure if the family's lives and their jobs don't conflict with it, we're there to help assist that. So, I've gone to many doctor's appointments with residents themselves to make them get there and make sure I get the information back to the family. Like, hey, this is how it went down. And then one of my residents taught me a card game. Yes, it's called Up the Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
I had never heard of it before, but it was an absolute blast. And just to learn it and then get more residents involved with it was just so much fun.
So you get the chance to really sit down, interact with the residents, and learn what's meaningful to them, like this Up the Mountain card game, and integrate that into their daily routines. And
Yeah,
maybe it's sit with them and have a cup of coffee and play this game, or whatever
yeah,
fills their cup.
exactly. No,
Nice.
that's a big part of the day to day,
Mhm.
just interacting with them because that's their home, and we chose to work here. And I think it's so much fun just to get to know them and the different things that they enjoy. I'm trying to teach them how to pay a Mexican train,
Oh,
some dominoes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Oh no.
They're kicking my butt. I don't think I've won a single one.
But still, taking the time to sit and do that is beautiful.
It's
Beautiful.
huge. It means a
Yes.
lot to them. I think that's the beauty of St. John's is we have between our activities department, they give us a posted calendar for a month of all the different activities that they're going to be doing with the residents and how we can integrate with ourselves. And then they created these really cool bins for the weekends when activities is off. The CNAs can go and pull out a craft or they can pull out a to do thing or a game. Yes,
Love
it's
it.
just so much fun.
That makes my OT heart happy.
Right? I
Yes.
bet.
And we, again, have talked in the past, your memory care dementia expertise. Tell me a little bit about the training and the knowledge you have with those cognitive challenges, limitations, if you will.
Memory care is where my heart lies. I love my assisted living in the higher acuity, but sometimes people forget that memory issues affects them so much more.
Mm.
Their day to day between sequencing and confusion. During our traditions that I had kind of talked about earlier, I do a training on dementia. It's the hands and hands. And I go through of this is how it's an easy way to redirect. This is how you can put them at ease. Live in their world is repeated out of my mouth. I can't tell you how many times
Mm.
because it's nothing facetious from them. It's just where they're at in their perspective in their world. So meet them in it. It's a hey, do I live and pretend for a little bit? Yeah. Do I have a resident that I sing song conversations with? Yep. It's a Disney sing along and I love it.
Fun. Yes.
And memory care is very much a calling to someone that has immense patience because that's what they need because they deserve the time to try and process and get through what they're going through. And that's what's important.
The folks you have living either at your assisted livings or the memory care, have they typically like moved into Mission Ridge at some point and then kind of followed the care continuum down, or do you get folks from the community?
Both,
Okay.
actually. We have quite a few that came from the community, but within St. John's and that umbrella that it is the continuum of care. So when they get the diagnosis and the decline starts to happen and they can no longer be safe on their own, then they get to transition down to us as long as we have a room available. And we have a wonderful wait list for all of the community as well that as life progresses and everything, and those rooms become available, we reach out. we follow through that. But yes, we have quite a few that come from Mission Ridge and Vista, but they also come down to our other AL cottages, Liggett and Nevsker, because sometimes they now have a mobility issue. And so we can help handle that to where it's just better and safer for them, but they get to stay with the St. John's family.
I think that is one of my most favorite things about St. John's is your loved one is taken care of from the day they step in to the day they leave, whenever that may be.
Yep.
And that's just you don't have to worry about moving furniture across town or finding somewhere else to live. It's you're part of the community and you're taken care of
Well, yeah.
forever.
And then because you're still on campus, you still get to be a part of the summer concerts and like the ice cream that truck that came around the
Oh,
campus this summer
yes.
on Tuesdays. Oh, the amount of times that we would be on that front patio waiting for that ice cream truck to come down. We were so excited.
It's so like little kids waiting for the
Yes,
ice cream truck.
exactly. But they still get to be a part of a lot of that. And then just within like our outpatient therapy, so some of them would go there independently on themselves. And then now we have CNAs or myself, we'll take the van, we'll get them up there, get them their therapies, whether it's physical or OT. It's that clinic is amazing for the campus because the residents love it.
Beautiful. You can really get access to everything you need pretty much right there on campus.
Yep.
And I also love that you're, as a CNA, but you have administrative duties, so you understand the care needs and the different ways to adapt maybe the task or what this resident needs. But
Oh,
also, you talk to families and you talk to staff, and it's just so collaborative.
it very much is. And that's the beauty of St. John's, I feel like, is because we empower our CNAs to do as much as they can. Whether it's hey, you know what, I reached out to the family, I did this, I did this. It just all that continuum of care, kind of like how you talked about, whether they come from Mission Ridge down to the CNAs to myself, the communication's there. And that's what families need. They want to know that their loved one is going to be taken care of, especially if they're coming from outside of the community. That guilt can kind of settle in sometimes of I feel bad I can't take care of my loved one anymore. And then that's where the beauty of St. John comes in. It's like, no, we got it.
Mm-hmm.
We have them. We will communicate to you. You come down, visit them. If you have things or needs, you just ask and it gets relayed to the appropriate person. So it's wonderful.
That gives me chills. I feel like a lot of times a barrier to moving into long-term care senior living is that guilt that we carry as family members. And there's a stigma around a nursing home, if you will. So they like dumping mom or dad off and leaving them. But that's so not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And it should, I don't know. It's just so hard to battle that guilt though. It's totally natural.
Yeah. And then in memory care, that's a really big one
Mm.
because it's well, I had mom at home, but this happened because she couldn't remember. And then my neighbor called me because she was walking down the street and she knew she shouldn't, you know. And so that safety of, well, they still have a life and their life is just as meaningful. So bring them to us so we can keep that meaningful life for them. And it takes a little bit of a stressor off them. And I
Mhm.
think that's really important.
Across the street from one of your cottages is the Respite Suites service that St. John's offers. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh my gosh. Yes, the respite suites. When I found out about it, I about cheered and jumped for joy in the meeting because I was like, oh, we need this so bad.
Yes.
Because there's family members that aren't quite there yet that need that additional assistance. So with our respite suites, it's a is it a night stay? Is it a I need 3 hours? Is it, we have this big family trip that we planned with the kids, but we can't take mom, but we're going to be gone for a long weekend, and the team there is phenomenal. And it's open to the community. I think a lot of people thought that it was just the St. John's community.
Mm.
It's not. It's two Billings as a whole. That if you have mom at home, hey, come down. They'll give you a tour. They'll give you the wonderful brochures. They even have the group that gets together to talk about dementia and the support of all of that, which is huge because understanding the lines of dementia and the deterioration that comes with the brain, sometimes that's not my mom. No, that is your mom. That's just your mom now,
Mm-hmm.
And so having that support and those questions is huge. So,
It's a scary diagnosis to get, probably both for the individual who receives it and then the family who's going to support them. So the fact that there's a place they can go for resources and support from other folks going through a similar battle is just beautiful. It like gives me chills.
exactly. It does. It's the goosebumps, the
Uh,
happy goosebumps,
yes,
because it's you know what, there is opportunities because, say you live in Harlemtown. Do you have something like that there?
probably not.
No, but you can come down to Billings and we can make it work for you.
Awesome. Well, for folks who are maybe debating making the move into senior living, whether that's moving in a loved one or themselves, is there any advice you would give them as someone who works in the space and with these elders every day?
Oh gosh, yeah, give us a call. Like
Yeah.
if you go to our St. John sites, you have the main number, and then they'll ask a couple of questions, figuring out which is the appropriate area for you to go. And then you can give us a call. We'll set up a tour. Come down, see what the atmosphere is. See between like my cottage and Liggett and Nefsker, they're the same assisted living, same high acuity, but when you go into each one, it has its own individual vibe. And so when you get to come down and really get to absorb in that, I did a tour yesterday. They were playing bingo at the table. The gentleman was so excited because his mom loves bingo. And
Oh,
he goes, "Oh, she's going to be able to play bingo."
yes.
So set up that tour, come down, see the rooms, see the residents. You know, you can see our activities calendar because we like to show that, just showing that, hey, we're keeping them busy, you know. And I think that's what's really important. Come down for a lunch, see what the menus are like and how the residents are eating. You know, food is my love language. So
Yes.
that's a big factor for me. Like, what am I eating?
Yeah. What kind of snacks are going to be there?
hmm And like what other alternatives are that,
Mhm.
and my family member has a diet restriction, is there accommodations for that? Yeah, we do. Whether you're diabetic or allergies or just, I don't like that,
Mhm.
I think that's just really important. But coming down and seeing the campus and getting the tour and seeing all of the things that we do is a huge factor for that.
Would you recommend scheduling that tour or just walking up and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a place for mom"?
Definitely schedule,
Okay.
just because we want someone to be able to really show you the floor plan.
Mhm.
And it is still the resident's home, so we like to give them that dignity of like, hey, this is what we're doing. These are the areas we can't go into. This is their room, but you can still get an idea of what the cottage looks like. Call. We are very open. Time schedule is not an issue. We just like to be able to give you that personal touch in that tour so you understand. And then if you have any questions, because sometimes it's like, well, do they have to come down for meals? No. We can
Mhm.
room tray them if they want to do that. We encourage it because we feel like socializing is a really important part of their day to day, especially when you're transitioning from home. You left your home, that was your safe space. And then now when you come down to the cottage, it's different. And so, hey, let's interact, let's socialize. But also, we give them the dignity of, I'm not ready yet. Okay, perfect. Then we'll come check on you and we'll bring you what you need.
I love that. This transition that folks go through it affects everything: mental health, physical health, emotional, spiritual, you name it. So giving them the grace to kind of settle and figure out what their new routine is going to be, it just speaks volumes to the kind of care that you guys provide and the people that you are.
It
My
really does.
gosh.
And I love that you brought up spiritual care because, like, when we have worship in the cottages, and they cover a lot. But when they come down and they play the music and they sing the hymns, and just the way their faces light up and how much they look forward to that just warms my heart. It's perfect.
Yes, yeah, you can literally, again, do everything you could ever want on campus.
Yes. All of the amenities are there. And the nice thing is like we have a couple that are in powered wheelchairs, but they want to go out for a walk. So we take them up to the duck pond and then get to see the ducks. And then if we bring a quarter and we'll throw the duck feed out and get to see all of that and to see all the flowers. If you haven't seen the St. John's campus, the grounds is beautiful.
Immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
the variety of flowers and everything that you see, it's so bright and welcoming. And that's just refreshing for them.
Outdoor space is healing and therapeutic.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I think your point about making the time to take the tour, give the call, it can be scary. You may feel, again, that guilt or feel like you're abandoning your loved one, but it could be the thing that saves their life. They get consistent meals every day. Socialization is so good for health. A
Yes.
clean space, someone to look out for them. Honestly, it could probably be a better quality of life for both the family and their loved
And their
one.
loved ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is okay. That's what these
It
services are
is.
for.
Yeah. And then also like anytime that you do a tour with myself or Jennifer, we give you a card. Here's numbers, here's emails. If you have questions later on as you're laying in bed, because you know how our minds just like to wander and you're like, oh, I didn't ask that. Give us a call. Send us
Yeah.
an email. We are very open to answering any questions that you have.
Well, I appreciate that advice. And your face just lights up when you're talking about these elders. And I can tell that this truly was your calling, Dominique. Yeah, you're wonderful at what you do and know everybody by name. And You just create such a welcoming space. So I appreciate you coming on here and sharing a little bit about your story, yourself, your family from Holland, what you do in your free time, and then also all that you give to these folks. They're lucky to have you.
Oh, no, I'm the lucky one. I really am. Because when the more you get to know the residents and you hear their life stories, it's just an awe factor is what I call it. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you did that. That's so crazy, but so cool. And I think that's just really important because then they also feel valued of like my life experiences mean something. We had a resident that she had 12 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Like learning that. And then she was knitting blankets for great grandkids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the generational, it's just so much fun. It fills my cup every day.
I love that. I love it. Well, everybody go call St. John's, get a tour, come meet Domonique in person and see her bubbly and beautiful personality.
Come see me.
Yes, awesome. Well, Domonique, thank you for being here again and sharing your time with us. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Eric. This is wonderful. And hey, St. John's is that hope, dignity, and love.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for spending time with us here on Finding Home. If you enjoyed this conversation or thought of someone who might connect with it, we would love for you to share it with them. Every episode tells a different story about what it's like to find home when life changes, and we hope you'll listen to the others and be part of the journey with us. Special thank you to Rock 31, the team at Big Sky Economic Development, and St. John's United for making this project possible. Cheers to living life wherever you call home.